And then you add so much onto it that they find out that you add so much truth onto it, and their view crumbles and is replaced with yours. I love it as a tactic. Go ahead, Nick.
And that's particularly the problem of complementarianism is they replace man's mission with being not wholly solely being his wife, right? But having a mission prior to getting married, right? And she comes along in that mission. They replace his mission with his wife. She is his mission. No. And so, but you got to be a servant to the cause.
Nick.
Complementarian is trash.
What the complementarians are saying, what the complementarians are really saying is that Jesus worships the church.
Yep.
Which is actual heresy.
All responsibility, no authority is what? As Rollo Tomasi said.
Chaos.
He's correct. Yeah.
Chaos too, yes. Rollo says slavery, but yes, it's chaos.
Slavery.
Oh, I just got a new analogy. And we say, the phrase flying up your own asshole. Another way of looking at is being subordinate to your subordinate.
Which makes no logical sense.
No logical sense. And how can a person fly up their own asshole? That makes no logical sense either.
Mm-hmm.
There's
no ego or self-interest, but your interest is in the mission. Therefore, you care for those under you. But you're not their subordinate. They're the subordinates, but you lead your subordinates in a proper manner.
And you can't lead your subordinate by subordinating yourself to them. Like, how did we lose track of logic this badly that we went down these roads? It's a rhetorical question. You guys don't have to answer.
We react.
Yeah.
We react and we don't think about this. Okay, how do the three of us come up with solutions? We talk about these things. And, then we build on each other's ideas. And, I got a new idea because what do these other guys say? And, okay, we achieve a lot. The other thing that you can observe is we rarely get things wrong because there's three of us.
Checking each other.
And if one guy starts going off in the weeds, no, the other guys won't stand for it. So one guy by himself, it doesn't work. Now, okay, Lee, back to Lee. In this description that you mentioned, did he have good people, good men around him? And did he listen to those men?
Yes. He did.
Maybe that's essential.
Which we'll get to. You also had, I think, Longstreet, and there's others that he had from time to time, but yeah.
Well, I'm sure he had unnamed people
Zeb
that are
Stewart,
lost to history underneath him that we will never know their names. But I also believe that Lee was smart enough that he surrounded himself with other men of good quality, of good counsel. Whether they be, colonels or majors or whatever. I mean, he probably was a good judge of character, and he assembled a team of men with good leadership characteristics.
Well, here's the thing. The only way you can do that is, as is said here, without the gauzy film of ego or self-interest. No man who is self-interested or has a big ego could ever put somebody who is as capable or more of them in their orbit. You can't if you have that kind of ego and self-interest, you cannot let anybody in who might possibly challenge you or might be better than you. But in a proper functioning leadership role, you're going to look and say, I want the best. And you're going to, and you're going to, and particularly in the military case, okay, let's say he's a major. Let's say he's not even a colonel. Okay, now I doubt Lee actually dealt with the majors that much, but he wanted to have the best majors he could have. And then if something happens and he needs to get rid of a colonel, he can look through his majors and say, you get promoted. But you cannot do that with self-interest. You cannot lead men with self-interest. And we're going to get into self-interest a lot next week because it comes up a lot in modern society. But if you want to know why your leadership sucks, you're reading it right on screen right now.
Right.
Well,
and what's
let
his
me put
first
it this
lesson? A
way.
good leader is first a good subordinate, right?
Yes.
So somebody
To
prove
his mission.
themselves. Yes. Well,
So,
mission first.
You're not always at the top of the hierarchy. You're somewhere in between.
Yeah.
And so you're subordinate to those who are your superiors, even in the military. Like a major's subordinate to the colonels and the generals.
Right.
Everybody has a superior.
To paraphrase what Plutarch is saying in a few words, a good leader doesn't surround himself with yes men, who are also known as brown nosers.
Brown falcons. The military guys, who I'm talking about.
Gosh. Paper pushers. Middle management.
Well, yeah, there's so much right there in this idea that you cannot have, you must set aside your ego and self-interest that I think gets overlooked. It cannot be overstated.
Yes. But also, leader, he says, must be decisive. His decisions, a fulfillment of his duty, vision, and experience. Says Lee was a thorough man of business, quick to decision, yet methodical in all he did. He knew what he wanted. He knew what an army should be.
Yeah, I've never met a successful leader who could not make a decision. Sometimes they had to think about it, because sometimes you do. But the middle managers are where you find the indecisive people.
It's like, I got to figure out which way the wind is blowing before I decide on this.
Which way is the most politically beneficial for me?
Oh, what was that general? McClellan. Yeah. He's really good at building up and training his troops.
Well,
he never could put his troops to battle.
Well, and look, sometimes we need to look at the strengths of a man and say, you know what, you're really good at training troops. That just needs to be what you do. We're pulling you off the front, but I don't want to. Yeah, too bad.
It's not my fault. McClellan.
Yeah, it actually is.
Lacking accountability.
Lacking accountability.
Oh, so a leader is also a good leader is humble. He guards against ego distorting his vision. A leader has to achieve his armies or his businesses or his team's goals, not his private ones. A leader's role is one of service.
And this is what the servant leader folks twist.
To his purpose, yeah.
And this I think is where the servant leader guys get their stuff twisted up. They think, oh, well, because the role of a leader is service, and then being a servant leader, that must mean what it is. It's not service to person, it's service to mission.
Yes.
Right. Your service is to something above, not below.
Yes. And so
a greater purpose, a greater mission, a greater cause, not a subordinate, which means you're always looking down and putting yourself below those underneath you instead of to the greater good.